jump straight into it. So, Silverymoon. Silverymoon was the prime signatory state of the Confederation of the Silver Marches. Marches, maybe. Yeah, Silver Marches. And therefore viewed by many as the capital. It was ruled for centuries by Lady Alastriel Silverhand, a powerful wizard and one of the Seven Sisters, some of the most powerful individuals on Faerun, and also a chosen of Mystra, the goddess of magic. Silverymoon, often dubbed the Gem of the North. Silverymoon was also famous for its pervading tradition of magic, and was home to many notable wizards, sorcerers, and other mages. One of its permanent structures, the Moon Bridge, was created by magic. Description: the city was divided into two sections, North Bank and South Bank, divided by the river Ruvin, or Ralvin. North Bank was the older section of the city. It was shaped roughly like a half circle and had three giant gates in its wall at west, north, and east. A large area known as the Market divided North Bank west and east, cutting from the wall to the docks and the river. There were many shops around the docks. The High Palace was located on the eastern side of North Bank, just inside the walls. Most places of worship and the houses of the nobles were also located on the eastern side. South Bank was originally an area for caravan business and warehouses, but it expanded to become nearly as large as North Bank and was known for containing most of the schools that were part of the famous Conclave of Silverymoon. The city was said to contain dwarven tunnels beneath its streets. Silverymoon minted its own coin, the Moon. It was valued at 2 gold pieces and was accepted throughout the Silver Marches. Some of the good produced, this is trade routes, by the way. Some of the good produced in and exported out of Silverymoon was a variety of white wine with a distinct blue tint, Silverymoon blue. It became all the rage in Raven's Bluff in the late 14th century DR. Travel distances from Silverymoon to Everland, about 50 miles, to Nesme, 165 miles, by barge downstream at 2 miles per hour, to Sunderbar, 165 miles on the Silverymoon Pass Road, to Waterdeep, 600 miles via the Evermore Way and the Long Road, to Yartar, 320 miles via the Evermore Way, and to Tribor, 400 miles via the Evermore Way. Defences. The fighting force that protected Silverymoon was comprised of the famed Knights in Silver. In 1372 DR, they were led by a paladin named Cernius Alathar. There were also the Spellguard, an order of primarily wizards and sorcerers, led by the half-elven wizard Joris Azurmantle. The High Marshal of the Argent Legion, the army of the Confederation of the Silver Marches, composed of soldiers from every signatory of the Confederation, also resided in Silverymoon for a time. The first High Marshal was a half-elf fighter/wizard by the name of Methramar Arasume. Knights in Silver, named by the adventurer and bard Mintiper Moonsilver, as a noble and chivalrous fighting force. Though they were often found protecting the walls of Silverymoon many times, they roamed the countryside around the city in a 50-mile radius with a member of the Spell Guard. In 1372 DR, recruitment was overseen by recruiting master Mazalor Shatterstave, who scrutinised each potential applicant for suitability among their ranks. Under Mazalor's watch, the Knights of Silver rose to 704 members. Spell Guard. The Spell Guard was established in 1255 DR as a personal bodyguard for Alustriel herself, but over the intervening years grew to a citywide force, spreading their duties between the High Palace and the rest of Silverymoon. By 1372 DR, which would be over 100 years later, the Spell Guard numbered 32 members, 7 of which were warders that oversaw the activities of the rest. Other defences. The Silver Watch policed Silverymoon's streets while the Moon Garrison protected the city from external threats. The High Guard, all veterans from the Knights, were responsible for the security of the palace and its environs. By 1357 DR, Arentala, a mage, had also invented the Cloaks of Reflection, which were magical items bestowed upon any messengers or rangers employed by Silverymoon. The Mythal. Silverymoon's Mythal was thought lost during the Spell Plague, but it was merely dormant within the Moon Bridge. With Mistress' return, the Mythal of Silverymoon blossomed out of the Moon Bridge in all of its former glory. History. Silverymoon became a city in Ukhtar 637 DR, when a stone wall was built around it for the first time, and the first ruler of Silverymoon, High Mage Akamene, True Silver, was elected. Prior to that, it was mainly a village of wooden buildings named Silver Village. It was built at a location considered sacred to the patron deity of rangers, Mieliki, and the unicorn goddess Luru. Since that time, the settlers sought to work with nature rather than against it, a decision that is said to have compelled the aforementioned deities to bless the site. Ekamane True Silver was instrumental in setting the foundation to the city's enduring and totally justified fame of a centre of law and knowledge throughout the north, often called Mithranor of the North, as it was an echo of the legendary capital of the Elven Court. True Silver founded a library, and subsequent rulers of the city pursued artistic endeavours and further consolidated Silverymoon as a place where art, culture, law and magic are highly valued before his death in 712 DR. Ekamane was followed by his nephew Aclanthol the Red as the second High Mage of Silverymoon. When Mithranor fell in 714 DR, some prominent scholars found shelter in the city, but they were followed by the demons that destroyed their home. The then reigning High Mage, Aclanthol, perished in the ensuing fight in 719 DR. His successor, Edarin Narimla, by contrast, reigned for many years in peace. It was in his reign that the city almost doubled in size. Upon Edaran's death in 784 DR, his daughter Amara Narimla became the High Mage of Silverymoon. In 815 DR, Alu Dalen arrived in the city and befriended Amara and her teachers in Silverymoon to take in students, not apprentices, and as payment for tutelage required an equal amount of time service in defence of the city. Interesting. In 843 DR, Alue and other wizards created the Moon Bridge, the city's most famous landmark, along with the wards of Silverymoon. Eventually, Alue became High Mage in 857 DR, and Amara left for Evermeet. Alue left the post in 876 DR with links. The succession of High Mages was disrupted in 876 DR, when the warlord Lashtor, the then commander of the city's army, took the city by force, destroying many of the important buildings and killing many wizards in the process. He could not remain in power for more than a year, however, as he was deposed by, and this is a name, Talalanthara Mistral, a mage known as Lady Wolf. Lady Wolf sacrificed herself in 882 DR while fending off a horde of orcs. The next High Mage was chosen by the people of Silverymoon to be Tanisal the Cloaked, who during his reign strengthened the wards of the city and constructed the Vault of Sages. In 920 DR, the keeper of the Vaults of Sages, Nunvit Threscal, succeeded Tanisal. Threscal reigned for over 100 years in peace until his death during 1050 DR. High Mage Orgelan was the next to take up the mantle of rulership and oversaw a reign that included the emergence of many famed mages such as Agaron and Bowgentle. Bowgentle is a mage that appears in at least his name and spellbook, or reference to his spellbook appear in The Lost Mine of Fendelver, but anyway. However, another disaster befell Silverymoon in the year 1150 DR, a plague against which nearly half the city's inhabitants perished. In 1230 DR, Orgelan appointed the next High Mage as Sapur. After 2 years, Sapur, I think there's a typo, disappeared from the city, resulting in an elected mayor ruling for the next 3 years. The first time that an enemy broke through the walls inside the city, though, was in 1235 DR, when the commander of the army, Kalos Shieldsunder, forcibly gained control of the city while under siege by an orc horde. The orcs, as has been stated, managed to enter the city, but the combined forces of the elves and the harpers, led by Alustriel, Silverhand, and their sister Storm Silverhand, successfully repelled the attack. Alustriel subsequently became the city's only ruler to have been unanimously chosen by the people, and the only one to have reigned for so long. Alustriel's reign officially ended in 1369, when she stepped down, passing the city's supreme office to her trusted advisor, Thunderspell Hornblade. She assumed the title of High Lady of the Silver Marches in 1371 DR, the year the Confederation was born, and became the leading figure of authority in the new found Confederation. When the spell plague struck Silverymoon, it broke the city's mythal. All hope was not lost, however, as this meant it protected the city from the brunt of the plague's effects. Silverymoon was involved in the destructive War of the Silver Marches between 1484 DR and 1485 DR. Still under Turn's leadership as of 1485 DR. However, the city's lackluster efforts to help Sunderbar during the war tarnished its reputation. By 1489 DR, High Mage Tern Hornblade had stepped down as the ruler, and Methrama Arasame took over as Lord of Silverymoon. Despite this, Tern still spoke for the city among the Lord's Alliance. And that is the history of Silverymoon, from its conception to recent time. Relationships. 14th century. Silverymoon was the leading city of the Confederation of the Silver Marches. The Confederation was new as of the early 1370s DR, and some difficulties existed when cooperation was needed. It was a common belief, though, that the cities in the region would fall to the many enemies that surrounded them unless they managed to somehow unite and fight together. Silverymoon remained allied with other cities in the north, such as Waterdeep and Neverwinter, but also had many enemies. The Arcane Brotherhood, a small group of wizards and sorcerers who controlled the port city of Luskan from the Host Tower in the 1370s, had the ultimate goal to rule the north. In fact, the Silver Marches and Silverymoon were considered by the leaders of the Brotherhood as their main target in their quest for domination. Enemies also lurked in the depths of Toril in the Underdark. In 1358 DR, an army of Drow from the city of Paranzan laid siege to Mithril Hall, a dwarven stronghold under the leadership of King Brunar Battlehammer, and were driven back with the combined efforts of Mithril Hall and Silverymoon. Politics in Silverymoon. When Alustriel was I'm going to say it like that. I'm going to keep saying it like that anyway. Was still in power. The politics of the city flowed smoothly. Legal disputes were delegated over in the morning, with spare time left for private appointments with those who requested them. In the evening, she declared any new laws or decrees, met with foreign delegations, and oversaw policy debates. If these debates went on for too long, she would ask the arguments be submitted to her in written form, and then these would be copied and distributed freely to the citizenry. The public would themselves argue about the matter, and then their written opinions were collected the next day. Guided by her own experience, Alustria would cobble together the final policy. Interesting. Religions in Silverymoon. Cyric. The Church of Cyric was outlawed in Silverymoon, so any worship to the murder god. He was at one point a murder god, but anyway. Notable locations. This is just a list of locations, but let's go with it. All the following locations have grid access, so they can be found in the accompanying map of Silverymoon. So there's a map here. The North Bank, the different gates, the Moor Gate, Hunter's Gate, Sunderbar Gate, Sunderbar Commons. And this map is as of 1370 RDR. Taverns, Bright Blade brandished, Golden Oak Inn and Temple to Shiala, Wayward House, the Dancing Goat, Helm's Wall, the Stag Stand, Shops, Optim's Blade, the Shining Scroll, at Bar Trading Costa, the Hammer and the Helm, a Handful of Stars, the Wormworks, and Many Cats Lane, temples and religious sites, Golden Oak Inn and the Temple to Shiala, the House of Invincible, Riestus Mantis, Everdusk Hall, the Halls of Inspiration, the Temple of the Silver Stars, Fortune's Hall, the Tower of Balance, Silver Glen, the Conclave of Silverymoon, Invocatorium, House of the Harp, Uttram's Music Conservatory, the Map House, Everdusk Hall. Other notable sites: the Docks, the Market, Eastern Garrison Barracks, the High Palace, Star Court, the Main Gate, the Moon Bridge, South Bank, Gates, Blacklar Gate, Mole Gate, Taverns, Solar's Smiling Satyr, religious sites, Mialeki's Glade, the Conclave of Silverymoon, Arkan's Invocatorium, I don't know why that's there as well, the Ladies' College, Vault of the Sages, Miresk School of Thaumaturgy, Ultram's next is Silverymoon. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, just talking a little bit about Silverymoon and that read through. It'd be cool to know if this kind of video is interesting, if you enjoy it. So if you did, drop a like, let me know. Give me that thumbs up, I guess. Subscribe if you're not already. Check out the videos appearing. There we go, that side. On this side of the screen. And I'll see you in whatever video comes next.